homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today it's time to harvest our big onions. Now, big onions, something that we haven't had a lot of success with, but I think this year we've probably done a little better than we've done in years past. I'm going to show you when to harvest your onions. Now, we've had a good growing season so far this year. We've had enough rain each week. It's just been a pretty good season. Except for my potatoes, you know, we had those froze out and I had to replant, but other than that, we've had a pretty good season. Now, these onions, for the most part, I kept them clear, and for the last 2 weeks, I've just let them go. And some of the weeds have started growing on. But it's not a big deal. The onions were pretty much done. They were just getting a little bit fatter with a little bit of rain. Now, it rained, and this ground is muddy. It's saturated wet. Now, if I didn't have a four-wheel drive tractor, I wouldn't dare to come into this garden. And I still have the chance of getting my four-wheel drive tractor stuck. We had an old International Harvester growing up. It was just rear-wheel drive. I wouldn't chance bringing it into this garden for love nor money, because there's nothing like getting one of them babies stuck. If you're out in a big garden, what do you anchor to winch them out? Okay, so you have to wait for the ground to dry up, leave your tractor out there in the field, and then drive your truck out there, if you can get it out there, to winch your tractor out, or you have to dig it out by hand. So I don't want to go there, but with this four-wheel drive tractor, I'm pretty certain it can make it right down this row without too much trouble. Now, let me show you how to determine when it's time to harvest your onions. Now, these two rows, right here and right here, I'm going to harvest the onions in them. So, let's look at when it's time. Now, you see this? This onion is standing straight up, just like it ought to be. But this onion's already laid over. Now, when you get a lot of those laid over onions, it's time to harvest them. Let's see what this onion looks like. That's a pretty good size onion. There it is in my hand. Okay, for reference. There it is in my hand. So that's a pretty good sized onion. Now, I've got several onions down through here to get. Now, what I'll do is I'll just get them and just throw them in the bucket of my tractor and take them back to process them. According to the satellite, I've got probably a half an hour to get these out of the field before it starts raining. So let's get at that. Okay, got them harvested. It was a mixed bag, but I'm just going to quantify it right now. the biggest onions I've ever raised. Okay, I fertilized these. I kept the weeds out till the last couple of weeks. And let's look at what we got. My onions range in size from this to this. Okay, there's my fist. It's a big old boy. Might have got a little bigger if I'd left it in the field. This one's neck wouldn't fell over. But I was afraid if I didn't get out here and get them, they'd go bad in the ground. That's not what you want to happen. I got a bunch of these. Now these are kind of a little smaller than that first one I showed you, but they're nice onions. But I did get a whole lot of these. So let's go up to the garage and start getting these processed so Crystal can cut them up. We'll show you what we do in the kitchen this morning. Alright, it started to rain, and this camera doesn't like the rain, so I'll probably have to switch to the GoPro, maybe not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you off, set you all in the garage for a little while, and let this tractor bucket fill with water while I accumulate the other stuff that we need to process these onions. Okay, the tractor bucket is full of water. This is a simpler process than harvesting the green onions. All I want to do, what I've got setting up right here, if you look right down there, there's a chair with a 5-gallon bucket sitting on it. You can't have enough 5-gallon buckets on a homestead. Now, the only utensil I need is a good set of heavy-duty kitchen shears, and you can buy them at the dollar store for $1, maybe $2 now. I don't know. I ain't bought none in a long time. But all you do is right here in this bucket, you take that onion and you wash off any mud. See, there's what the onion looks like. And I peel back some of this old skin sometimes and just throw it down. Okay? But you wash it off where most of the mud's gone. And then you just take these kitchen shears, hold it over the bucket, and lop them off. I've got a bunch of these to do. Now, some of these I'm going to save. I've got a little something I want to try with them. And maybe you'll see it in a video, and maybe you won't. I don't know yet. But I've got something I want to do with these. I'm going to throw a couple of them here in the chair to reuse. But you just keep at that. Till you got them all. And when that bucket gets full, I'll get another one. Okay, I'll get y'all in out of the rain. I'm probably going to just stand here and do this. Okay, there's the first 5-gallon bucket. Probably, I'd say 30 pounds of onions. And I probably got enough to get another 5-gallon bucket. So we're looking at 60 pounds of onions. A bushel. So I'll get these and take them in, and Crystal will get started on them. And I'll show you what we do in the kitchen. She doesn't like to be on video this time of the morning, so I don't blame her. She hasn't had her coffee yet. But I'll show you how to process these and what we do to them. Okay, the very first thing you got to do, you got to peel that onion, get the old nasty skin off that's left, and then cut that tail off, cut those roots off. And then that onion's ready for the food processor. Take off any old bad spots too. Okay, next step, they get cut up so that they will go through the tube of the food processor. Crystal will cut these up till she gets a couple of bowls and then run them. Once they're cut up, then into the food processor. We've got our food processor set to slice these up. And it's a relatively quick process, but it's over and over. It's fill it up, empty it, and repeat. Once it's chopped up, then it's into bags, and we weigh those bags out. Crystal weighs them out into 2 pounds per bag, and then those are ready to go to the freezer. This makes it so much quicker. When you go to make a soup or a stew, there's no standing around chopping onions. Just right out of the freezer, get as many as you want out of the bag, close the bag back up, put it back in the freezer, and you've got your onions already chopped. It kind of spoils you. These are already cut up, and you make a mess one time. There isn't 2 or 3 messes. We make one big mess at the summer harvest, and then threading the mess all winter. This year we're doing something a little bit different. When you top your onions, you've got this little green stem that sticks up. A lot of folks throw those out, but we are going to puree those things and make them into little bitty minced onion. And we'll store them in quart freezer bags. We'll see how they come out. Alright, final tally. We got 12 2-pound bags for 24 pounds. Then this one's a little better than a pound, so say 25 pounds. And then the minced onions, we got 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds of the minced onions. So, total tally is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28.5 pounds of onions for the freezer. Here we are at the freezer. I open it up. This freezer is generally dedicated totally to onions. So I'm going to get some stuff out of here that doesn't need to be in here. Seed corn doesn't need to be in here. I've got some cabbage in here. Get that out. And it'll go over here in the other freezer. Now I've got some corn in here, but I'm probably going to leave it. But there's Cherokee purple tomatoes in here too. So got to move those out of the way. Put those over here in this freezer. Now generally, this freezer is dedicated to just onions. Well, there's a couple of green bell peppers in here and some corn, but mainly it's onions. So I'm going to go ahead and get our onions in. I'll start off with the big onions. These were our last 2 bags of onions from last year, so I'll set those to the side and put those on top. So let's get our other onions in here. And also we've got our green onions in here. You know, we did 44 pounds of green onions. So I'm going to pull up some of those green onions say can be up here on top too. Okay, this is a 5 cubic foot freezer. It has white onions, chopped green onion tops, green onions, and there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 72 pounds of onions in this freezer. Now there's some corn down in there too. There's some sweet corn. Of course, we're going to wear that out on the 4th of July, so it'll be gone out of there soon. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading prepping stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on at homestead that week. If you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. With that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.